Finally, a win on the road again. Just can't wait to get another dub on the road again. The life I love is watching LAFC win with my friends. Oh, I can't wait to win on the road again. In case you're wondering, the original On the Road Again song was penned by Austin's favorite son, Willie Nelson. The rewritten lyrics are written by Burbank's favorite transplant, Philly Nelson. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, hello, Los Angeles. Hello, fans of Major League Soccer. Hello, lovers of the beautiful game. And hello to the millions
and millions
of Defenders of the Bank listeners. This is episode 281. Now, today, I may be Philly Nelson, but normally I refer to myself as the platinum-colored haired flamingo. It's me. It's me, platinum-colored haired flamingo. That's me. And yeah, that's me, Christian Philly Philemon. And joining me today, like he does every day, straight up coming from the west side, the Lord of Lawndale, the King of Knits, the Sheriff of Shawls, the mouth of the South Bay. I give you J.R. Liebert.
The scarf. And it's right. That's my favorite one, I think, La Bufanda. I'll go with that one. I love it. What is good, LAFC faithful? Come on. 9 goals in 2 matches. I believe the drought is over. The perfect kind of win, though, dare I say, the 4-2 victory doesn't allow us to celebrate in the locker room entirely. Steve Cherundolo going to have plenty to talk about for the last 15 minutes of that match, but it's the first 75 that were of particular import for us. Absolutely stomping out Austin FC, chopping off the stalks of broccoli. Verde gone bad, that's for sure. 4-2 the victory, Philly, and we have started that momentum train a little bit. It's running through right now. It ran through BMO Stadium. Now it's running through Austin. It's got to turn all the way back around and make a very slow trek on up to the Great White North that is BC Place in Vancouver, but not a better time than now to start that momentum train rolling.
Not a better time than now, but we got 2 weeks until our next game, heading up to Vancouver, British Columbia. Dare I say, history has a tendency to repeat itself. Wasn't our turnaround last season after a trip to Austin, albeit a loss in Austin?
Okay.
Yeah, it was. And finally, we did something that we haven't done in a little while, and that's a win in Texas. Texas has not been very kind to us. And yeah, we've gained ourselves some momentum, but we will be off for a couple of weeks because our next game isn't until the 21st. So for the time being, we're just going to get to kick back and chill, and it's going to be nice. Our boys get to relax. Steve gets to go over the tactics. Anybody who's bumped or bruised is going to get some time to heal, be it Giorgio Chiellini, be it a lower body extremity with Kellen Acosta, be it something going on with Cheeky Palacios, whatever the case may be, we finally get some time to rest, and it's going to be good. Scarf, it's a good day. It's finally nice to watch a road game where we don't walk out of it angry as all hell, where we're not on the edge of our seats. Every once in a while, it's really nice to watch a game that unfolds and ends relatively early. And that being the case, I'll let you take this away just for a little bit, because I got to be honest, bro. It was a long business. It was a long day for me, and I'm kind of hungry. So I'm just going to snack real quick while you talk.
There's just so much going on over. If you're not watching, I don't even know that you want to do that right now, by the way. If you're not watching us on YouTube, you certainly are missing out. Philly wearing what can only be described as maybe a 4 or 5 gallon hat. I don't even know how many gallons are in that hat, but it's not 10. That's for sure. And he's currently enjoying some broccoli, courtesy of Austin FC. I will say this. We are very good with our smooth segues. You know what else was wonderful today, Philly? Waking up and being part of the Flex family. That's right, flexpowertools.com. He lets me do all this stuff so he can sit there and eat broccoli. I love it. Head on over to flexpowertools.com for all your power tool needs. I am a broken record by saying that any power tool that you buy on their site, hell, you might even be able to buy their lights or their stands or anything else that they've got. Any power tool you buy on their site, a full lifetime warranty through for the rest of the time you buy the tools, as long as you buy it through 2023. Come on, people. We only have a couple. Philly's never even used a kitchen knife before. This is hilarious. We only have a couple more months, people. FlexPowerTools.com. And don't forget, LAFC.com/Mo-Facio. We are still raising money for the Mo Facio futsal court and the foundation. So head on over to LAFC.com/Mo-Facio to donate. Mine's gonna be very simple. I'm donating $14 today in honor of one of our goal scorers, baby, Giorgio Chiellini, scoring for. Damn it, he scored for the other team, didn't he? He pulled a Marco Farfan. All right, well, Giorgio scored today, so I'm donating $14 because Giorgio scored. Are you done chewing your broccoli yet?
When I was younger, Mom and Dad would never allow me to eat junk food. Couldn't have anything. I would get things like celery sticks, carrots, broccoli, radishes. If I wanted Fig Newtons, I'd have to go next door to the Davis household. If I wanted candy, I'd have to go to the other side to the Malika residence. I always ate these types of snacks. So while it may be apropos and funny to eat a head of broccoli on this podcast, it's not something that I am unaware of and unfamiliar with.
Can I interject for a minute? You went from you had to eat broccoli to when you wanted Fig Newtons. What childhood did you have? Where were your Doritos? Where were your jelly beans? Where were
next door?
Oh yeah, but Fig Newtons.
You met my mother.
Fig Newtons was your first segue. Look, I love your mother. I absolutely love your mom. I have a wonderful set of parents that I know, on occasion may drive you a little nuts every now and then. But you know what? That's what our parents are for, right? That's what they do, especially as they get a little bit older. But Fig Newtons, man.
You didn't like Fig Newtons? Who doesn't like Fig Newtons?
I'm just saying, like, I would choose about 77 things before I chose Fig Newtons as my
fair. That's fair. But if they were around, you wouldn't exactly say no to them, would you?
Yeah. What else is around?
Well, I mean, there's brownies, there's Debbie's cakes, there's Twinkies, there's Oreos.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, fair enough. You proved your point.
All right. Love you, buddy. Look, we're going to get our normal rundown of the episode here. Episode 281, Philly. Jeez. We'll do a very quick this day in LAFC history. We do have some news and notes, and then we'll get into the breakdown, but Philly is currently raising his hand.
I didn't get a chance to pledge anything to the Mo Facio futsal club.
I apologize. Dude, you bring up Fig Newtons and it threw me off. Like, I mean, come on.
I know you're feeling froggy, Scarf, but wait before you jump to that next lily pad, my friend.
What are you donating, my friend?
19 in honor of Denny Bouanga, Golden Boot race leader Denny Bouanga, 19 goals. And dude, he almost had 20. Stuver stopped him, but that obviously opened the door. And honestly, I think it was better for the young man's confidence because he'd been itching for one for a little while. Kike Oliveira getting on the boards, but dang, Denny nearly staring 20 and another Hattie right in the eye. But 19 to go along with 19 goals by Denny Bouanga. Currently, if I'm not mistaken, up 3 from the number 2 spot.
You are correct, sir. He is up 3 goals on Lucia Costa, 4 goals on a handful of other people. There is a match happening right now. Actually, there's a couple of matches, I believe, happening right now still in Major League Soccer that are pretty big in terms of the overall standings. Only one. Wow. Salt Lake almost came back against Sporting Kansas City. Two late ones there for Sporting.
Did you hear about that game?
2 late ones for RSL. Did I hear about what that?
Justin Glad, like the fastest red card in league history, 30 seconds, getting a dog. So
was it 30 seconds?
Then Chicho got himself hurt. They're in town next week to play Carson at the Digs.
Yeah, that might be a real interesting match to go see.
They're going to be giving tickets away for free because the Galaxy are officially eliminated. Thank you, Loons.
You clearly didn't look at our news and notes rundown. We're getting there. But
I'm sorry. All right, I was feeling froggy and jumped to another lily pad. My mistake.
No worries. The game to watch, though, is Seattle-Vancouver, currently 0-0 in the 62nd minute. That's because, by the way, we are recording this episode Saturday, October 7th. It is 1 minute before 9. Holy hell, 9 o'clock? Are you kidding? We're starting this thing with single digits in the hour hand. I love that so much. So let's get in to this day in LAFC history. Philly's donating $19. I'm donating $14. And we are both wishing a very happy birthday to a man that is just 3 years younger than myself. And that means he's like 17 years younger than Philly. Happy birthday to Lee Win. That's right. Lee Win, fan favorite during his time with LAFC. Philly's going to press a button. That's right. On October 7, 1986, the handsome Lee Win was born. 4 goals and 11 assists in 57 total matches with LAFC. He also modeled for the guest line that we had at LAFC HQ. Philly is still eating broccoli. Lee Win is just a good dude, and I double-checked it, damn it. He's now the assistant coach in NWSL for the Kansas City Current, and this time I'm sure of it because I get it wrong a lot. So it's the Kansas City Current that Philly is currently shaking his head in agreement. He's being, look how mature Philly has gotten in his old age. Philly used to eat right into the microphone back in our earlier days. Philly was lovingly putting himself on mute while he was chewing that broccoli. I appreciate you for doing that, Philly. And look, we don't normally touch on these things, Philly, because we are an LAFC podcast. The Black and Gold faithful turn to us for all the black and gold news that they possibly could want. But you know what? As the season winds down in MLS, a couple of big stories emerged here on match day 37. None bigger than the one you alluded to, Minnesota putting up a 5-spot of Pookie power all over Carson, eliminating the Galaxy from the playoffs 5-2. And Teemu Pukki, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 goals on the night, absolutely stamping out the hopes of those 13 miles down the road in Carson. Philly, your thoughts on Pookie power punching Puig in the... I really wish I could finish my alliteration.
Well, Pookie certainly finished the Galaxy. I say that because the man is the all-time leading scorer in the history of the Finnish national team. It's a good one. I was trying to look back and think of the number of times Carson has missed the postseason since we've shown up to play.
Did you not see our Twitter?
What's that?
Did you not see our Twitter?
Ooh, no. I was out shopping for broccoli, Scar.
Oh, you were out shopping. That is Philly going to the grocery store, by the way, is breaking news. I know Philly knows. Okay, here's the thing, you guys. I'm gonna let you in a little secret with Philly here. Philly's set out of love. You're one of my best friends in the whole world. Philly knows where the Ralph's is down the street because the Kim Bob Rex truck parks in front of it. I am a firm believer that if that Kim Bob Rex truck did not park in front of that Ralph's, Philly might not know where that Ralph's is down the street. I love those sushi burritos. They actually opened up a store in Glendale. I saw that. I thought of you, by the way.
Yeah, we need to go pay them a visit. I love Kim Bob Rex. If you all ever see that food truck, Kim Bob Rex, you got to get the Sushi Rex burrito. It's fantastic.
Well, do me a favor, Philly. While I talk about the next thing on our news and notes, just on your phone, pull up our Twitter real quick and check out our last tweet. I'm just curious to see what you think about it. Maybe you want to read it to the millions.
And millions.
There you go. The other big news, obviously, Apple TV is crushed. Lionel Messi, I guess he plays for Inter Miami, so we'll say Inter Miami, eliminated by the Supporters Shield champions. That would be FC Cincinnati, 1-0. Messi did take the field again, which is kind of a big deal. Yay, Messi played a little bit, but not enough to do anything. And Philly, one that kind of breaks your heart in particular, I know, because you are a Manchester United supporter. It looks like it's the end of the line for Waza at DC United. They were eliminated from the playoffs, and he promptly said, peace, I'm out. So no more Wayne Rooney, no more Lionel Messi this season. Maybe not next season. You never know. I don't know. And no more Carson. That's a big day in MLS.
Wayne Rooney out. Adrian Heath out.
Yeah.
Who knows? After the whooping that LAFC did, maybe Wolf is out in Austin. Max and Dunny were talking about it on the broadcast about how the criticism with Major League Soccer is the long leash they allow on these coaches.
Yeah.
But a lot of coaches, a lot of changes have occurred. What's to say that Danny wouldn't be the next victim
And
Obviously,
Giovanni Savarese earlier in the year.
yeah, and Giovanni Savarese. That one was a big surprise because obviously he had some success. Portland, not bad a team. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. Giovanni Savarese did this thing actually coming from NASL and the New York Cosmos and had some relative success in Major League Soccer. And the same could be argued about Vanny, but never with the Galaxy. So Wayne Rooney, wherever he ends up, we'll see what the deal is. You know how it goes when you have a player at his caliber going in and managing a club. It's tough. I think it was Nina who sent the tweet to us or the DM to us when asked about Zlatan, whether or not he would coach. He would go, no, because I would punch 2 players during the game and then I'd fight the whole team at the conclusion of it.
Yeah, that
hilarious.
was
It's
great.
something typical that guy would say.
Yeah, so Philly, did you want to read our last tweet from Defenders of the Bank at Defend the Bank on
I was just reading the salty comments from this loser named Chewy3 Stacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to repeat what he said. I've seen this guy before. Whatever, loser. I don't care. 2018 did not qualify for playoffs. 2019 eliminated by LAFC 5-3. 2020 did not qualify. 2021 did not qualify. 2022 eliminated by LAFC 3-2. And 2023 did not qualify. But here's a good one. 2018 finished below LAFC. 2019 finished below LAFC. 2020 finished below LAFC. 2021 finished above LAFC. Missed playoffs. 2022 finished below LAFC. And finally, 2023 finished below LAFC. Thank you, Banc fan 07. That was a fun tweet to read.
Yeah, look, did he say 2021 that we finished?
They finished above.
Yeah, they did. You're right. By 3 points. I forgot about that. Oh well. Either way, it's been fun, Carson. We'll see you later, bud. Let's check in on Sifu real quick. The Rangers, by the way, Philly, talk about hot seats. Rangers coach Michael Beal already been dismissed early on in the season, and now their first match against a European League opponent from Cyprus, Aris Limassol. Aris Limassol gets their first ever win in Europa League competition, beating Rangers 2-1. I think I read something where they're winless. Rangers are in their last 10 European games. Sifu didn't start, but they came in at the 67th minute mark and finished out the match. He wasn't involved in the goal, but the Rangers did score just 3 minutes after Sifu came on for their only goal of the match. Sifu's actually playing in about 10 hours or so from now. About 10 hours or so from now. So if you want to check in on Sifu and you're listening to this podcast, on your way to work, you can flip on over. You might be able to watch it. That could be fun. Although it's Sunday, hopefully you don't have to go to work. Philly, real quick on the Angel City minute with 2 matches left. ACFC sits 3 points back of the 6th and final playoff spot. They have 3 teams to jump in order to make the playoffs. They will play Houston Dash tomorrow, Sunday, October 8th. And their final match of the year is at BMO against the title favorite and current number 1 seed, I believe, Portland Thorns. So at Houston on Sunday, October 8th, at BMO on Sunday, October 15th. And who knows? Maybe Becky Tweed will be able to get them into the playoffs. That's it for news and notes, Philly. And anytime we can get to that and under the 20-minute mark, we are doing okay. LAFC taking on Austin for the second time this year. And look, we were joking around on the opener that Denny Bouanga almost messed around and got himself a hat trick this time in Austin. He did mess around and get himself a hat trick the last time we played them at BMO, April 8th this season. We did fire 26 shots, only 6 on target back then, but 3 of them finding the back of the net courtesy of Denis Bouanga. And Philly, I heard Max and Dunseth trying to maybe portray this as a little bit of a rivalry because of their 2 wins over us. But I think after today, we've pretty much closed the book on that argument.
I mean, it'd be good to have that rivalry of the franchises. Austin's done a lot of good things, and they obviously had given us a little bit of grief. But when it came down to it, push came to shove, it was us that triumphed, thankfully. And obviously that harkens back to the Western Conference Final when we absolutely smacked them, and they've still been reeling from it. Coming into this game, we had something to play for. We want to have the right to play at home. That's what getting seeds 1 through 4 enables you to do. Now, we can't get 1. That belongs to St. Louis. But 2, 3, and 4 are still up for grabs. So this is a game that clearly meant something to us. For Austin, it was also a game that meant something to them. Win and they still have a shot at postseason. Lose, and it's elimination. So for a team just on the cusp of the playoff line, this game really mattered. 10th place, 38 points, and a team that's actually pretty good at home with a 7-5-4 record. But as we mentioned this on One More Sleep, a team that does allow a lot of goals in. They're in the entire Western Conference. I believe they're number 3 in terms of goals allowed, just behind the Galaxy and I think the Portland Timbers, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a place that we've had horror shows. Texas, not kind to us. And we're riding on some momentum, having finally broken our scoreless streak recently. And then they've been riding a high too, having beaten DC United. So tensions were going to be up there. It was going to be a big game, and we were in for a real treat. Or were we?
Yeah, look, this is the 7th time we've faced them. We now have 5 wins in 7 matches. And dare I say, the only match that really mattered, the 3-0 victory in the Western Conference Finals last year. This is a club that, look, Austin tried everything they possibly could, but sometimes when you bring a butter knife to a gunfight, things like this are going to happen. And Austin, their back line has just been miserable this season. I didn't know this, but they were talking about it on the broadcast with Max and Dunny. They're on their 8th center back that they have played this season. 8 center backs is just an ungodly amount. You're definitely not going to have defensive cohesion when you're working on 8 center backs during the course of a 34-match MLS season. Just kind of unfair with what Josh Wolf has had to deal with. But you know what? Nobody's going to cry for you about injuries or about any attrition when it comes to the long MLS season, especially with the ridiculous salary rules and roster configuration rules that MLS has. They got to throw a lot of this stuff out. Either way, his only major injury coming into this was Zan Kolmanic, who's been out for most of the season. He's one of their better defenders out there, so I guess it has been a pretty major injury. Josh Wolf, by the way, teammates with Steve Cherundolo, 2000 Olympics. Steve was an alternate on the 02 World Cup team. Josh was on the World Cup team. They were both on the 06 World Cup team together. These two guys, they know each other and like each other an awful lot. And I know I actually remember Steve Cherundolo commenting on Owen Wolf being in Major League Soccer at such a young age. And he's just really proud of the Wolf family. They are very good friends and seem to really get along well. But I do love how Steve has kind of turned on a little bit there, Philly. In the 90 minutes where they're playing, you can really see Steve doesn't care who's coaching against him on that other sideline. He's in it to win it. But Josh and Steve, they do go way back.
And even look, if it was you and I coaching against each other, we would still rise to the occasion and still talk all kinds of crap to each other while on the pitch. But obviously, leaving the pitch, we'd probably go out, grab a bite to eat, and have some hees and some haws. And that's just how it is. You're gonna stick it to your friends when you best them, and they're gonna do it to you otherwise. But at this point, no friends, only enemies, especially when that whistle blows. And who did Austin throw out in that lineup?
Yeah, of course. We were talking an awful lot about Brad Stuver on One More Sleep. This is not going to help his MLS high 50 goals he had given up coming into the match. Spoiler alert, it's now 54. He's been the number 1 keeper since Austin started a few years ago. And he was a former pool keeper. And we do love our share of pool keepers, one being Charlie Lyon from back in the day for LAFC. But I didn't know this. Brad Stuver was once called in by Chivas USA in 2013. That's how long Brad Stuver has been around and doing his thing. He has definitely found a home in Austin. A player we're very familiar with on the back line of Nick Lima, the former longtime San Jose Earthquake. Leo Väisänen, who's going to be representing Finland as well with good old Teemu Pukki. Julio Cascante and John Gallagher, who came over from Atlanta and has been very good on the back line for them. Johan Valencia, longtime MLS veterans, Ethan Finley and Alex Ring in the middle. Former teammate with Sebastian Driussi at Zenit St. Petersburg, Emiliano Rigoni. They kept calling him the Dancing Bear, Will Bruin. All right, I guess that's a nickname. Cool. Good job on that one. And forward Sebastian Driussi, who's 33 MLS goals since the beginning of 22, are the 3rd most in that time span. In the 18, one of my favorite MLS players all time, but a guy who decided to tangle with the bull and got the horns in Giorgio Chiellini was Jossie Zardes from Hawthorne, California, down the street from where Scarf grew up. The number 1 overall MLS Super Draft pick from a couple of drafts ago, and likely the most valuable player. And they're going to build quite a bit around Sebastian Driussi and Daniel Pereira, who I think is going to be really fun to watch. Son of Josh Wolf, Owen Wolf in the 18, along with Memo Rodriguez. Wow. Philly.
It's like Memo's like third team this season.
His third team, yes. He was on Houston and then went to Galaxy and then came back to Austin.
I've ever heard you call them Galaxy.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm going to throw it to you while I try not to choke.
Well, I appreciate that. And please don't choke. It'd be very lonely doing this podcast without you. Starting LAFC in between the pipes, Max Crepeau, who I would say, unfortunately, got robbed of a clean sheet. More on that later. Backline, Chiqui Palacios, Giorgio Chiellini, who had an interesting evening, Aaron Long and Ryan Hollingshead. In the midfield, we have Mati Bogusz, Ilie Sanchez, and Timothy Tillman, who was Scarf's player to watch. The German came through, and I'm going to teach you all a little bit of German in just a few minutes. Starting up top, Kike Oliveira, no surprise there. On the other side, opposite him, Denis Bouanga, and in the middle, not the Vanishing Pistol, not Carlos Vela, but Nathan Ordaz. Congratulations, Nathan Ordaz, number 27, getting the start, number 1 in our hearts. That was fun. A lot of fun seeing Nathan Ordaz get there because we hadn't seen him in quite some time. Goes to show you where Mario G is on the pecking order for this season.
Yeah, I think they said, second start of the year for Nathan Ordaz, which, look, if you're getting starts up top, although I think Ordaz might have started in the midfield in the last time he started, but either way, if you're getting starts up top for LAFC, I mean, it used to be a position where you were having to go through guys like Chicho Arango and Christian Teo and Gareth Bale and Carlos Vela and Denny Bouanga. The herd has thinned a little, especially now with No Mahala Opoku and several others, but it's still definitely difficult to find minutes at the striker position. Kike Oliveira and Nathan Ordaz, man, we've got the young kids starting up top along with Denny Bouanga. Absolutely love the lineup, though. Got a lot of youthful energy. You do have to rotate the lineup a little bit, although now, as you mentioned in our opener, we're getting plenty of rest as our next match isn't until Vancouver on the 21st. Though many of our guys, Philly, we didn't really talk about this a lot. Many of our guys will be playing for their international clubs in the window. Daniel Maldonado, who really hasn't seen a lot of run for us lately, he'll be called in. Kike Oliveira was called in as well. Tony Leone was called in, and I'm blanking.
Stipe Buke, U21 with Croatia.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the other one. Stipe Buke.
Maxime Crepeau got the call for Canada.
Yeah, it's not like our guys are going to be resting the entire time. But look, anytime you can give Denis Bouanga a little bit of time off, Carlos Vela a little bit of time off. You mentioned it with Kellen Acosta nursing his lower extremity injury. Even guys like Ryan Hollingshead and Chiqui Palacios and Giorgio Chiellini, who have just played minute after minute after minute after minute for us. It's going to be pretty nice to get them a little bit of rest. Austin, though, unfortunately, not a lot of rest as we just 13 minutes in. Look, there wasn't a whole lot going on. From the first minute, they had this long throw that we didn't really defend very well. That seemed to be their best weapon in the first half, these long throws and corners into the box. But 13 minutes in what was, we were watching it, and I was like, all right, this has been a kind of a boring game to start. I look up 13 minutes in. Hello, Mati Bogusz with the ball over the top to Denis Bouanga, who settled it down so nicely. I absolutely love Denis' touch on some of those balls into the box. Giggity. Jeez, I just said that. And he lays it off for Timothy Tillman. And my guy, Timothy Tillman, the ball got a little bit underneath him, but he switched back around, put it to the right of Brad Stuver with a low worm burner for the goal. That is Denis' 43rd goal contribution for us in 42 matches. Timothy Tillman with the goal, Denis Bouanga and Mati Bogusz with the assists. And Philly, you harp on this all the time. LAFC coming into this match 18-1-3 when we score first, and we scored first.
Unselfish passing by Denis gets his seventh assist on the season. Timothy Tillman gets his 4th goal. It's a good stuff. And I'm going to teach y'all some German. You ready?
Wait, what are you eating right now?
Broccoli. I'm going to take a
Still
big
more
bite
broccoli?
for every goal we scored.
Oh my goodness! All right, German.
This is
from
a
Philly.
big head of broccoli. So I intend to have this thing fully consumed
Consumed.
by the time this pod ends.
Gross. Real quick, before you teach us other German that you're about to teach us, how does one say broccoli in German?
Ooh. Give me. Oh my God, I forgot.
I didn't mean
Hold
to
on.
stump. I didn't mean to stump.
Idiot. Broccoli.
Wait, what?
It's broccoli, but instead of with a C, it's with a K.
Oh,
So
all
there
right.
you have it.
So
Schieß
there you
ein
go.
Tor. Schieß
Cheese.
ein
Ein.
Tor.
Tor.
Score a goal.
Score a goal. That's heard in
goal in German, and the German managed to do that, and you did say it. 18-1-3 when we score first. Austin, on the other hand, is 0-13-4. So anytime they fall on the back burner, they're in a whole heap of trouble, and we're doing good things. And it was a great start. You said it. Nothing really happened until that goal. Although I will say, if we're going to play the karma game or if we're going to play the physics game, meaning every action causes an equal, if not bigger reaction, I'd have to harken back to the 5th minute when Brad Stuver unnecessarily gave a forearm to Nathan Ordaz. Now, Nate has a really good ability to get underneath people's skin, as we saw going back to that Monterey Bay game in the U.S. Open Cup. So with Brad Stuver shoving him with that forearm, I would say that is a precursor for things to come. And unfortunately, though, I think Giorgio Chiellini fell along that idea as well. We'll talk about that later. Scarf, Cheeky Palacios went down in the 20th minute, and that was a little unnerving, especially when the trainers had to get called out. Cheeky recently getting nominated for the Defender of the Year. I did not realize until watching the broadcast, and I got to tell you, every once in a while, it's fun to watch it at home because I can actually pay attention. He leads Major League Soccer in tackles with 140. When Steve Cherundolo said in the press conference for our final home game that he believed that Cheeky Palacios was the best outside back, I wouldn't disagree with him. I think he is. From a defensive perspective, he's huge, but obviously he helps contribute on the offensive end as well. I mean, how many times have you seen him on side of the 18, lobbing across in the box and having somebody step up big and score a goal as a result of his passing proficiency? But thankfully, Cheeky Palacios got up. But that was an unnerving moment, I would have to say.
Listen, I've been saying this since the middle of the season. Cheeky Palacios is the best defender in Major League Soccer. He is definitely the best outside back in Major League Soccer. He is our most important player other than Giorgio Chiellini when he goes down. I'm telling you, it is so criminal to me that Cheeky Palacios was not on the All-Star game roster this year. It is so criminal to me that he is not more respected, and I was so proud of him when he finally got nominated for the Defender of the Year. I don't know what's happening. I gotta go get some water, dude. I'm dying right now. I can barely talk.
Well, that's not good because I'm going to need you tomorrow because we're gonna tell y'all defenders something like really fun that Scarf and I are going to get to do tomorrow. All right,
I'll be right back.
All right, you do what you got to do. Look, I mean, going through the rest of the first half, I mean, we had a lot of attempts by Kike Oliveira. 32nd minute, he had a long ball shot, not too far off the mark. And the kid keeps on trying. I want to tip my hat off to him. And you can't fault him for taking as many shots outside of the box like he does. Look, for so many seasons, we complain that we didn't have many players that were ambitious enough to take that kind of a shot. We're looking more to do that tiki-taka thing in the box and get something open. But this kid's got guts, and he continues to shoot. A scorer's going to try to shoot, man. Scorer's going to try to score, and I have to applaud him for that. 36th minute, Oliveira to Palacios, but Stuver was there with the grab. 42nd minute, good job with ball possession. I was writing that within my notes, and then something pretty interesting happened. 43rd minute, Kike Oliveira went down on a pitch after absolutely breaking Cascante's ankle. And the ref doesn't go and immediately call that. And then at some point, I don't know what was said. This is that karma thing I called out earlier. Brad Stuver poking at Kike Oliveira, thinking he was just embellishing what just transpired. but we were fortunate enough to have the instant replay go through, and they went to VAR, and it was clear there was no play on the ball. Kike took a shot to the shin blatantly. We were rewarded a free kick, and good work by Oliveira for attracting that. Like I said, the kid's ambitious. He keeps on going. And for a young 22-year-old who hasn't had much success in terms of scoring, this is a good thing. The kid's going to keep firing away, and I like that. Just kind of goes to show you what kind of a player he is. Instead,
Billy, hi, I'm back. How's everybody?
You're back.
I just want to mention Kike Oliveira, Nathan Ordaz, and Matty Bogusz all on the pitch at the same time. And they all have that same kind of dog in them, that fight where Nate is going to run you down up at the top. He's never going to give up. Doesn't matter the size of the dog that's ready to fight him, but there's a lot of fight in his dog. Absolutely love guys like Nathan Ordaz. I think Matty Bogusz, he did not have a great first half at all. Had a wonderful second half, though, that's for sure. He did have the nice ball over the top, but either way, I just think that a player like Kike Oliveira, and they mentioned this on the broadcast too, he doesn't get his head down. I mean, at 8 shots, 5 on target last match, couldn't find any. And yet here he is earning the PK. And look, he knows, right? He's not going to take that PK, but he's still going to earn it for the club. And he did a great job. He split 2 defenders and then got taken down after he did that little soft touch right before Väisänen got to him. It was just such a beautiful play. And I'm just so proud of this kid, the way that he's fought, the way that he's hustled. And then he gets to help out the Golden Boot leader in giving Denny Bouanga an opportunity, Philly.
Yep. And Brad Stuver got to eat his words twice. And that's because you poked the bear, Brad. You poked and went after Ordaz. You paid for it. You poked at Kike, and you paid for it. And it was Denny this time that absolutely punished you. Denny goes in there, smashes it in, gets his 19th of the regular season, and piss off Brad Stuver. Booyah, 2-0. And question to ask you real quick. I got to take a bite of this broccoli.
Yeah, I was going to say they scored a goal. You got to eat some broccoli, but now you're going to have to ask me a question with a mouthful of broccoli. This is
game on the line.
Game on the line.
PK.
Yeah.
Carlos or Denny?
Denny Bouanga is 3 for 3 on the season now in PKs. I did not love Denny's choice going right down the middle. Now, he got a little bit of air under it, so it was at least going to be over the legs of Brad Stuver by going right down the middle, but I just never liked the choice of going right down the middle on a PK, as both, who was it? Timothy Tillman and Ryan Hollingshead found out in that matchup against Tigres. But look, you're giving me a choice between Denny and Carlos. 3 for 3. Denny Bouanga. I know Carlos has had his share of PK makes. He's also had a share of PK misses. I think Denny is number 1 now on who I would want to take any PK for LAFC. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no questions asked. He's riding on confidence. Carlos Vela has made me nervous in going back to 2019. Even when he had that amazing MLS season, there were still times that I do recall that he got stopped 11 meters away, 12 yards away. So, yeah, I agree with you. Denny Bouanga all the way. Now, Panda brought up an interesting topic of conversation not that long ago. What would your thought be if whoever gets fouled in the box is the one that should shoot?
I mean, look, it would be very interesting. It'd be a very MLS rule if we ever tried something like that. As far as I know, that's never been the case. But
no, but it's a topic of conversation.
Sure, it'd be interesting, right? If you have a defender taken down in the box, can you imagine Jesus Murillo lining up for a PK against a keeper? I don't know. It could be fun. I'm glad it's not the way that it is, especially with the weapons that we have on LAFC. But like, if you have a guy like Ryan Hollingshead was a striker way before he was a defender. That could be a lot of fun. We definitely have plenty of players who can score. Obviously, Denny Bouanga with his 18th goal of the season, separating himself by 2 in the Golden Boot race, and number 31 on the calendar year, tying himself with Zlatan in 2019 for 3rd most ever in a calendar year by an MLS player. Spoiler alert, he would go on to pass Zlatan in the second half. But Philly, those first half stats, how are we looking?
I'll tell you that in just a second. Did you by chance notice as the boys were walking to the locker room, they were drinking this orange-looking drink?
Yeah, what was that?
I have no idea. At first, I thought it was Jarritos, and I'm like, there's no way they're drinking Jarritos going
Yeah,
into
it's
the locker
probably
room.
one of those like supplement laden, like,
Well, yeah,
powders that go
of
in there.
course, something that they. But I was curious. I mean, the only reason I even noticed that was because everything was so gosh darn green between LAFC, between Austin, between the pitch. So the color orange certainly stuck out among all of that
Well,
green.
and that we're all in unmarked bottles, right? They were all there. There wasn't anything else on the bottle, so clearly this is something that the team is making themselves and distributing throughout the team. So yeah, it'd be interesting. We got to talk to the physio staff and see if we can get on the inside for what they're serving these guys. But look, I said I'd want there to be between 20 and 25 shots in this match. How were we on our pace for me getting to 20 to 25 shots?
Not even halfway there, as we only had 7 shots with 3 on target. But that goes to show you we were playing very well defensively, 1, and 2, Austin didn't really do a good job building anything at all because they only had 2 shots with nothing on target. Possession relatively similar. Both teams, though, passing the ball really, really well. I think there was a difference of maybe 10 or 15 passes between the two. And I think Austin had more, but both teams hovering around 90%, hovering right around 90%. So it wasn't a sloppy game, and we have seen some pretty sloppy LAFC games in the past. That Philadelphia game being excluded because Mother Nature was a pest that day. And that's your stats for the second half. It felt really good going in the locker room with a bit of a breather. 2-0, but as they say, 2-0. I know you like to say 2-0 looks simply 2-0, but 2-0, a 2-goal lead is an interesting thing. Hell, even a 4-goal lead is an interesting
Man,
thing.
Brian Dunseth brought that up on the
That's
broadcast.
why I brought it up too.
Oh my God, he brought it up, and I rolled my eyes again. Oh, the worst lead in soccer is a 2-0 lead because the other team can get complacent, and then all of a sudden you give up 1, and then it's like giving up 2. No, you know what giving up a goal is like? It's like giving up 1 goal, and you're still leading by 1. I think this is the dumbest thing in soccer. I can't stand it when they say a 2-0 lead is the worst lead in soccer because if you give up a goal, you're still up 1. A 1-0 lead is the worst lead because if you give up a goal, you're not leading anymore. God, I hate it. I hate it.
Now that I know this, I'm going to make sure to emphasize on it from here on out.
Oh, man, do I hate that so much. For Austin FC, Jossie Zardes and Daniel Pereira coming on for the Dancing Bear, Will Bruin and Valencia, and Jesus David Murillo onto the pitch for Aaron Long. Kind of an interesting substitution. Aaron Long maybe getting a little bit of a break, maybe them wanting to see how Murillo and Chiellini play well together, because that hasn't been the easiest of the center back pairings to see, because Giorgio likes to come way up and help out on the offensive end. Jesus Murillo likes to go on walkabout every now and then and get all the way into the box. I don't know, but we got to see what it looked like for 45 minutes, Philly, and it was kind of fun.
It was kind of fun. And like I said earlier, it's just nice to have somewhat of a breather and not have to be nervous and on the edge of your seat. LAFC has really put us through the gamut of emotions this year. The highs were awesome. The lows were horrendous. But it felt good to actually feel good. And it didn't take long in the second half to start feeling good again. And I don't know if you had anything between the start between the start of the second half or the 53rd minute, but Denny, you do.
I did have one thing.
Of course you did.
And look,
of course you did.
I want to give you, Philly, an opportunity to look at my notes and to hear and read how wrong I was with one of my notes that I wrote down. I'm going to share this with the millions. So,
10 millions.
Yeah, thanks. So here's what I wrote down in the 50th minute. In the 50th minute, I wrote down, after getting in the way of the pass, Matty Bogusz turns and fires one well high from the top of the box. It hasn't been the best match for Bogusz so far, other than that ball over the top to Denis early. And look, I don't think I was wrong. 50 minutes in, I don't think Bogusz was playing very well, other than that one pass. It's as if he heard me. And that's why I bring that little note up, Philly, because after Rigoni earns the stomping yellow card for stomping Ryan Hollingshead right on the foot, soon after, you bring up karma, man. That may have found the karma right there. In the 54th minute, the first thing I wrote down, Philly, was sorry I talked crap about Matty Bogusz, because it's a low cross from Matty, who somehow finds Denis all the way back on the opposite post. Thank you, Nathan Ordaz, for not touching the ball, because then Denis Bouanga would have been offside. It was a little tap-in from Denis Bouanga, maybe the easiest of any of his goals that he has scored this season so far. 32 on the calendar year now, solo third for the most ever by an MLS player, and solo one. What was that? What was that? Oh my God.
I don't know.
I
Kind of hurt my tooth.
Yeah, I saw you absolutely grimace. Were you eating a peach pit or broccoli right now? What just happened? We are off the rails.
Broccoli.
A goal for LAFC now putting us up 3-0, which, might be the second worst lead in all of sports. I don't even know. But 19 goals for Denis Bouanga, now 3 ahead of Lucci Acosta. And LAFC riding high, up 3-0. I don't know how much more you want me to talk about with this goal until you're able to talk again. Are you all right, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. Seattle and Vancouver just tied.
Oh, did it just end?
Yep, it ended 0-0.
All right, cool.
So, hey, all right, cool. Hey, we start getting some subs in the game. Well, actually, hold on. 58th minute, Denis cross in off of Väisänen. Oliveira winds up, but off target. Oliveira winded up quite a bit. He had a lot of shots, ambitious shots that were off target. And I bring that up because, well, shooter's going to shoot, and he's going to be rewarded for it. But beforehand, Carlos Vela coming in the 61st minute, in for Nathan Ordaz. And Austin's got some subs, too. We got Rodriguez plus Wolf in, Rigoni and Finley out. Coach's son in the game. 67 minutes, a shot on target finally for Austin, but Max was there. And then the 68th minute, what I thought could have ended up being a Denis Bouanga hat trick, he gave a Kike Oliveira goal. And you know what? I'll take it. I'm happy the kid tried hard. The kid's been trying hard, and I think the kid can be really good, although I will disagree with Dunny when he mentioned he is playing similarly to how Denis Bouanga played last season. I don't buy into that comment for 1 second. Denis Bouanga is a different caliber of a player, so and as is Kike Oliveira. They're both fast. We'll leave the similarities there. Denis was very close to getting his second straight hat trick, but it was Brad Stuver that was there to prevent that. Denis absolutely crisscrossing Pereira, and Stuver made the save, but it just so happened that Kike, right place at the right time, he puts it home. LAFC up 4-0, and I'm feeling pretty good, especially considering that was the last goal they would score. And this, if you're watching, is my final piece of broccoli.
Thank goodness.
I ate a whole head of broccoli on this broadcast, y'all. I'm feeling very healthy.
Yeah, you're going to feel something a little bit too, but
fiber.
Yeah, look, I'm so proud of that kid. Like we talked about, he just never gives up. He's trying to put himself in the right spots. Look, yes, his crosses are sometimes to nobody in particular. Yes, his shots are sometimes a little off, a little askew. It goes a little awry, if you will. But when you have a player like Kike Oliveira, and I was really happy that they let him play as much as he did. We're going to talk about him coming out in just a little bit, but I was really happy that he got 75 full minutes. In the 70th minute, I don't appreciate Sebastian Driussi making Giorgio look bad like that. Giorgio, as it goes, this might go down as maybe Giorgio's worst match that I've seen him play, mainly because of everything that begins to happen here in the 70th minute, with Sebastian Driussi doing Driussi things. He does a little up and over move on Giorgio Chiellini that kind of reminded me of that one Zlatan touch when he went up and over on Edward Atuesta and just kind of stepped into a goal back in 2019 against us. But Driussi, a beautiful little up and over on Giorgio, but happy that Murillo was there, came over to deflect his shot off for a corner. The ball was recycled out for a free kick eventually. Austin wanted a handball, nothing there. And a nice little give and go from Denis Bouanga to Carlos Vela, but Vela just seems kind of snake bit over these last couple of matches. I know, Philly, you've been talking about it. He's so close to having double-digit goals and assists on the season. He's at 9 goals on the year. But really hoping that he and Bouanga would be able to link up there. And then we get to the 75th minute. We bring on Fufu and we bring on Stipe. Out comes Matty and Kike Oliveira. And unfortunately, Philly, with 15 minutes left, the Verde get on the scoreboard.
And it was a very beautiful goal. A great cross into the box by Pereira. And Väisänen, who, well, He'd been guilty of a lot of malice in this game for Austin FC. Can't say that he was playing a very good game. He's another one, by the way, who got called up to his national team. I love seeing that all these Major League Soccer players getting to represent their country. That speaks volumes for the league. Hate on it all you want. I love MLS. It's our league. It's fun. I don't like Euro snobs. I don't. You're not hopping on the 405 to go to Old Trafford, mate, or the Bernabeu, or Camp Nou, or Allianz. So support local. Think global, though.
Yeah, Philly, I was just reading, what is it? Farias and Almada called back into Argentina. I mean, we're not talking about these guys getting called into small clubs that are in the bottom 100 of the FIFA rankings.
Yeah, nobody's playing for like Laos. We're talking big competitive countries.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. That's been such a cool thing to see MLS's legitimacy be shown on places in the biggest stages in the world, like the World Cup.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, yeah, Vicenen lifts up, and you could argue that was Giorgio Chiellini's fault for not defending him properly. But Maxime Crepeau's clean sheet done, gorgeous cross, a great header. Nothing Maxime could have done. All right, whatever. No clean sheet, no big deal. But that wouldn't be the last of it. And they started playing aggressively. What was it, 2 minutes later? You had Alex Ring, the former captain of NYCFC, with a rocket, and you could tell they were starting to pick up their pace and playing more aggressive. But I don't know about you. I, for one, did not necessarily worry in this game whatsoever after we.
No, look, I said it at the top of the show. I thought this was the perfect kind of 4-2 win, because there's so much in this match that Steve Cherundolo is going to be unhappy about. And look, you just said it, that goal, Giorgio was marking Vicenen, so that kind of happened in the 80th minute. And by the way, let's not forget that beautiful pass from Cheeky to Carlos Vela, where that shot saved by Brad Stuver there in the 76th minute. You know, Vela still, again, appearing a little bit snake bit. In the 80th minute, it was a silly corner given up by, of all people, Giorgio Chiellini, trying to play it all the way back to Max, and Max was nowhere to be found. Giorgio's pass was nowhere. We just kind of looked sloppy. And in the 83rd minute, Memo was able to get around Giorgio Chiellini, but luckily Jossi was just offside. I felt like, we started to see maybe the legs get a little heavy for Giorgio. And look, you guys all know, for those of you listening out there, I am the biggest Giorgio Chiellini supporter in black and gold. I mean, I love the guy. This just wasn't his best match. Philly, you almost got that Denny Bouanga hat trick in the 89th minute, though, as he almost caught Stuver napping.
At one point when I saw, because that was all off of a free kick, I saw the netting move, and I thought, oh, my God, he got it. But I didn't hear Max go nuts. I didn't hear Dunny go nuts. So I thought, okay, he missed it. And then shortly after that, we see somebody who's been, MIA for a good portion of the season. Eric Dueñas checks into the game for Ilie Sanchez. So I love that. We're in a position where we run up the score a little, and we get to let the young guys go in and play. I mean, that's fun. That's what it's all about. It's a real treat seeing these kids for us play, considering that we've seen them since they were knee-high to a grasshopper. They were tiny. And now they're starting to get major minutes in games. Nathan Ordaz disappeared for a while. He gets the start. Eric Dueñas, we hadn't seen for a while, although he was playing a bit in the beginning of the season, getting himself some minutes. Still waiting on the consistency from Tony Leone, because I know when the academy kids were coming up, he was the one that they were really hot on and talking about. But eventually that will be the case. He's certainly the bigger out of the three that I just mentioned. But yeah, Denny was close. 90th minute, though. I mean, I thought of you instantly, because there was a ball in which, Jossi, your good buddy, and Chiellini, let's just say they got tangled up a bit. And I'd have never seen Giorgio Chiellini this pissed off as a member of this club. Sure, I've seen him this angry on Italy. Sure, I've seen him that angry on Juve, but I've never seen him this angry as a member of LAFC. I thought he was going to rip off the head of the referee and Jossi.
Yeah, it looked like he was a little upset because of how hard Jossi went into him as Giorgio tried to play that ball back around behind himself. And look, he left himself exposed. It was a professional hard foul. I actually didn't think there was anything necessarily malicious about it. But Giorgio, pretty upset. And dare I say, it caused Giorgio, Philly, to play a little on tilt. Jossi did pick up the yellow card. I'm not so sure what else they wanted from the referee than to give a yellow in that situation. I felt like the yellow was perfectly warranted. I felt like that should have been the end of it for Giorgio, but apparently he was still giving the referee, still giving Jossie all kinds of earfuls. And, unfortunately, we get 4 minutes of stoppage time, and right at the end of stoppage time, Giorgio Chiellini scores for us, against us. It was an own goal. He was marking Jossie Zardes, and he got a little overzealous to try to head the ball away, and it was a perfect header right into the back of the net. And maybe it's because it's Giorgio. He can kind of get away with it. Maxime just kind of patted him on the head. Giorgio was kind of just smiling sheepishly, that grin, and just kind of laughing and walking away. This is a game, Philly, that I think is absolutely perfect for LAFC. We looked amazing on the offensive end for almost all 90 minutes of this match, and we have been incredible defensively this season. 1 goal in our last 5 MLS games. We were looking very, very good. And then in the final 15 minutes, we gave Steve Cherundolo so much bulletin board material with defensive lapses and all kinds of stuff that are going on that, over these next 2 weeks at the training ground, Philly, Steve Cherundolo, the former outside back for the U.S. men's national team and a guy who had played hundreds of games in the Bundesliga, he wants that precision. He wants everything to be gone according to plan. And what we saw in those last 15 minutes is exactly what Steve Cherundolo wants to eliminate, and that's taking your foot off the gas and not playing the same way for all 90 minutes.
If we played a lesser team, we would have gotten punished, and that we wouldn't have won this game. If we played a much better defensive team, we wouldn't have had the goals in this game, and then we would have gotten punished that way. So, yeah, we did play a fairly solid game for about 70 or so minutes. But, yeah, I mean, at 4-0, we hadn't been up on anybody by that score in quite some time. So needless to say, they pulled their foot off the pedal, but can't have that going forward. And cooler heads need to prevail. Giorgio knows better than to do some of these things. And I don't blame him for getting that angry, but Jossie isn't a malicious kind of guy. I said at the pen, then minutes out, like second after that done, he said it right away. So it was what it was. But karma, man. Karma was a big factor in this game. I talked about those 2 moments with Stuver poking the bear, poking Ordaz, poking Oliveira, 2-0. I talked about so many other things. And obviously it happened to us as well. Chiellini chomping it up with the referee, chomping it up with Jossie Zardes. He got bit by the karma bug too. So call it faith, call it karma. I'll call it physics. Every action causes an equal, if not bigger, reaction. But karma was a factor in today's game. Nevertheless, we won 4-2, and Steve should be happy at our conversion rate at the very least. We had 17 shots, so we didn't get the 20 that you wanted, but we did have, 10 in the second half, which is closer and more than what we had in the first. We had 7 shots on target, and we were able to score 4 goals off that. Pretty darn good. Possession and passing were fine. We created some opportunities. Would have loved to have seen a little more out of Carlos. Would have loved for him to have nabbed his 10th. Or to see Denny Bouanga hit that Hattie off that free kick, but I'll take it. 4-2, sloppy ending, but we're sitting in second place, man, and it feels pretty good.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Look, this is a club that doesn't play again until October 21st. That is 2 weeks from now at BC Place in Vancouver. Vancouver 5th in the table, 47 points, and the nice part about them being on 47 points is they can't catch us, but they have absolutely everything to play for, as they are behind Houston by just 1 point in the race for having a home playoff match. Houston on 48, Vancouver on 47, Seattle, by way of that tie with Vancouver today, now falls behind us, and we are in the driver's seat. We are in the driver's seat for having home field advantage as the 2nd seed. Yes, St. Louis has already wrapped up the number 1 seed. But if LAFC wins our last match of the year, we will be on 54 points for the year. It's hard to believe, by the way, we're doing worse than we did in our expansion year, but that's neither here nor there. 54 points on the year. Nobody else can get to 54. Even RSL, who has a game in hand, can only get to 52. So, look, things look good for LAFC right now, which is 1 match left in the regular season. Vancouver, though, again, very good at home, 8-3-5 at home. They've got Brian White, who has 15 goals. They've scored 54, which is one more than we have on the season. But we got ourselves a very nice away win now. And look, this would be really nice. If we get an away win at Vancouver, Philly, we bring our road record to 5-5-6. So basically a 500 road record with 6 draws. I'll take that in a year where we've been pretty up and down. I'll take a 5-5 with 6 draws road record any season that we've been up and down.
I mean, I'll take that too. We improve our road record to simply have the ability to play at home in the playoffs. I think it's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful story indeed. So we just I think we just got the email the other day about LAFC with playoffs. So keep an eye out for that. Not sure if they do the opt-in or opt-out thing, but obviously make sure you read your email with this new playoff format. There's obviously going to be a best of 3 within the first round. So if we're in second place, which hopefully that goes and happens, we're going to know what our fate is going to be, and we're going to figure it out on decision day. Decision day is going to be wild, man. 2 weeks from today, well, I think it's Sunday. Decision day is going to be absolutely insane. Be very curious to see who we're going to tackle, and more importantly, how much tickets are going to cost. But our momentum is pretty good. We go into a nice little break, and it's going to be fine for us because we have a new adventure that you and I are going to get to go on tomorrow.
Yeah, man, super excited. Look, you had some connections that brought you into the realm of UC Riverside women's soccer, and we get to call the match tomorrow against Cal State Bakersfield. And look, it's great that I get to call my first game on ESPN. It's great that you get to call your first game on the ESPN family of networks, but it's so much better that we get to do it together. This is so much fun, man. And look,
I am going to call you Scarf on the broadcast, by the way.
What's that?
I am calling you Scarf on the broadcast.
Oh, goodness. All right. So does that mean I'm calling you Philly on the broadcast?
Yes, sir. I'm introducing myself as such, and I'm not going to go through the long-winded way of introducing you the same way I do on Defenders, but, I'll mention that, lovingly calling you the Scarf.
Absolutely. Could be a lot of fun. And look, for me, on a personal note, too, we have 2 people that we know on the UC Riverside women's soccer team. So that's going to be kind of fun for us to call the match. Although, from what I understand, neither of them have been playing much this season. But either way, it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to call this match. UC Riverside versus Cal State Bakersfield, 2 p.m. tomorrow. So if you are not busy and you want to listen and or watch, I would say tune into the ESPN Plus app. Head on over to the, Big West? What are we talking about here?
Big West. I just punch in UC Riverside. It'll pop up.
Yeah. And look, it'll be fun. You get to hear our voices. We're doing play-by-play. This will be fun.
Yeah. And I don't want y'all. I don't want to hear my voice anymore because we still got some work to do. And we went over the hour this time, but we shouldn't go over an hour and 5. So I got nothing. I'm good. Yay,
We're barely there. This is episode 281 of the LAFC podcast, heard in over 107 countries worldwide. And you know how we like to end all of our episodes.
Bye-bye.